This will work for the Toronto Raptors, just not right now. The Raptors just got smoked by the Cleveland Cavaliers. You might look at it and say, hey, that's a mess of a team. We're tanking. The tank's out. The kazoos are out. Everything is out, in terms of racing for those L's. But we just faced one of the best teams in the NBA right now, one of the hottest teams in the NBA. And there were a ton of bright spots from this game. Obviously, things aren't put together. There's a lot of holes. There's a lot of inconsistencies. This roster isn't in full form. We're a young team. Lots of stuff to take away. But Scottie Barnes shows flashes of greatness as the number one option. Grady Dick proven that he might be making a case as the starting sort of wing player for this Raptors group, spacing the floor like he did in this game here tonight. Kelly Olynyk, his fit with this sort of system, with this sort of group, took him a little while to sort of get into the mix of things, get rolling, but frankly, I really like the acquisition of Kelly Olynyk. Heck, even Ochai Agbaji, he's a guy that didn't make his shots tonight, but I still sort of like the feel of him out there on the court. So there are a lot of positive takeaways that I'm going to run through for this game. Again, right now, we're looking for development. We're looking at patience. We're looking at this team as a squad for the future. And I'm not discouraged by what I saw from this team tonight. But folks, if you want to stay up to date with everything regarding this team, through the highs and the lows, I mean, it means the most if you subscribe right now, because you'll be through the dark ages of the Toronto Raptors, or a dark time in the Toronto Raptors period, because frankly, it is looking gross right now. We had a high with the Houston Rockets game last night, and I think a big part of it is the role players on this team just aren't going to be consistent. Jakob Poeltl, again, some nights he looks like a bona fide proper center in this league. He's getting disrespected and stuff, and then when he plays against these big the big traditional big man, athletic, sort of domineering in the rim and stuff, he struggled in this one. He has some nice matchups. Again, Jakob Poeltl, he's making me flip-flop back and forth, because I thought he was struggling due to injury, and then he plays phenomenal for a couple of nights, and then he just drops stinkers like this. It's tough to really get a gauge on where we're at with Jakob Poeltl, who he is as a player and stuff along those lines. But tonight, a stinker Jakob Poeltl game, and then you get a stinker game from the Toronto Raptors just in general. So that's a part of it, but Scottie Barnes, I'm not starting with the negatives. 20 plus point blowout to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm not starting with negatives. I'm starting with positives, because Scottie Barnes, again, we're not consistently throwing it out this season as we did in his rookie year, but he's getting the Scottie Barnes Award tonight. It is back. It's deservingly so, going to Scottie Barnes, who earned himself a triple-double in this game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, tonight, Scottie Barnes, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, really efficient shooting, and a couple misses around the rim, but he does a really good job just attacking even some of the most elite rim protectors in the league, and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, like in terms of a front court duo. They block a lot of shots, they protect the rim really well, and Scottie Barnes, when he's locked in, when he's focused, he can really put up some points. And there's been a lot of criticism thrown the way of Scottie Barnes for looking dejected, looking checked out. Tonight, that didn't seem to be the case. Scottie Barnes seemed to be fired up for this game. You knocked down some shots, but definitely got to the paint, attacking the rim. And that's how Scottie should be playing, inside out. And I thought he did a really good job. And RJ Barrett, you might look at this game and say, hey, RJ, one of his worst efficiency one of his least efficient nights for the Toronto Raptors. 14 points, 5 of 14 shooting, 0 of 2 from the 3-point line, 4 of 7 from the free throw line, had 7 rebounds, 1 assist and stuff. But if you looked at what RJ Barrett was doing on the defensive end for the Toronto Raptors, I thought he did a really good job as sort of the point of attack defender, guarding Donovan Mitchell, who's been putting up MVP caliber numbers as of late. And Donovan Mitchell in this one, in terms of his stats, only had 15 points, 5 of 11 shooting. So again, not held to remarkably inefficient shooting, but I thought RJ Barrett did a really good job at not letting him get open looks, not letting him, Garland, whoever you switched on to, get open shots, and his defense looked really astute tonight, and that's something that Knicks fans said he had high potential from, but didn't live up to it. In his last couple seasons, didn't really develop in that area. And I've seen RJ Barrett sneakily become, one of the more better defenders for this Toronto Raptors team. Out there on the wing, Darko Rajakovic is throwing him on some of the team's better players, so that's something I'm definitely encouraged by. And then Kelly Olynyk, off the bench in this one for the Toronto Raptors, running some forward with this team, right? 22 minutes in this one, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 block, 6 rebounds. Shout out to anyone that had him on their fantasy team, because he filled up the box score in this one, him and Scottie Barnes in this game. But I like what I see in terms of fit with Kelly Olynyk out there on the roster. Out there, he's going to get more and more comfortable playing with the Scotty Barnes of the world, with all these guys. So I thought that was a nice sort of plus. So that was really good. Gary Trent Jr., a little bit of a stinker. He had that very hot January. Now we're seeing some low moments from Gary Trent Jr. He heated up, maybe potentially trying to get traded. I don't know what he's doing, but Gary Trent Jr. didn't have it here in this game tonight. And again, this is where the inconsistencies come from. Jakob Poeltl, Gary Trent Jr., they have us hyped up, they have us sad. And then Emmanuel quickly also missed a lot of floaters in this game. Didn't facilitate that well. Just looked a little bit not like IQ that we're hoping to see really develop and blossom into a star player for the Toronto Raptors. But the guy that was probably the worst player for the Toronto Raptors in terms of getting minutes tonight was Bruce Brown. And, it might have been a risk. It might have been a risk. Masai Ujiri, again, we saw that first round pick on the table. We know Evan Fournier was attached to it and stuff, but maybe we should have factored in how Bruce Brown's trade value might decline if he's just struggling to be an impact piece on this Raptors group. That might be something we have to factor in. I mean, Otto Porter Jr. had some value. Obviously, people have to look at his injury history and stuff coming off a championship with the Golden State Warriors. We picked him up and then, asked to maybe do a little bit more, gets injured and stuff with this Raptors group. And, we dealt him for pennies on the dollar here at this trade deadline. I don't want to overreact. But it's hard to overreact when the games just, not overreact when games just happen. But Bruce Brown's trade value might be impacted by staying with the Toronto Raptors here now at this point. Don't know if we'll get a first for him in the future. We'll see, because, again, the Raptors are loaded at this position. He's not going to be sort of in a position to really get some cuts, get some great plays off of these guys. He's not a great floor spacer, so him alongside RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes doesn't make a ton of sense, especially with Jakob Poeltl out there in the lineup. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see what's going to happen for Bruce Brown, but that's something I'm a little bit concerned by. But again, and then the last guy that people were sort of looking at in this game here tonight is Ochai Agbaji, who in this game had 3 points. I thought he did a solid job, when he was attacking the rim, had 3 early fouls, but man, he looks like a proper athlete. Went 0-5 from the 3-point line, but did a good job at getting to the basket, finishing around the paint, and a few of those shots go down. Again, the percentages indicate he's not a great 3-point shooter, an elite Grady Dick level 3-point shooter. I guess Grady Dick isn't a Grady Dick level 3-point shooter right now in terms of the numbers, but those 3-point shots go down. He looked confident in his first game as a Toronto Raptor. I'm pretty encouraged by what I saw from him, his potential going forward. Again, it's going to be a transitional year for the Toronto Raptors. We'll see who sticks, who doesn't. We'll see what young players end up developing, what grow and blossom into this Raptors team. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But I don't know. It's not working out right now because guys like Poeltl, guys like Brown, guys like Gary Trent Jr. just aren't going to be consistent, especially against the top teams in the NBA. But we got some good ones in Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett. I still believe in IQ. I like the fit of Kelly Olynyk. I liked Ochai Agbaji. I mean, we'll see. Ochai Agbaji. We'll see how it all sort of shakes out with him. But I'm encouraged by this team long term. And I feel a little bit teased by Jakob Poeltl. I bought it, and I was pretty on the hype train yesterday. I don't want to get too low on him right now, but it sucks when they have such high games and low games when it could have been a really nice matchup for Yak. But let me know what you guys think about all this Toronto Raptors news. You guys best make it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.